Alright guys, so it looks like we got another video here from the Unique Entertainment channel. He's up to 21,000 subs now. Last video I did with this guy's content, he was on about 20,000. Now he's at 21. That's how math works, folks. But this is Joe Rogan erupts on Mark Maron and bans him from the comedy club.
Teams
Nice.
and see who can do the best, like, you know, interpretation. We have up close acting, so we have a camera on your face.
This is another thing that pisses me off about all these comics talking shit about the Austin scene. There's so many things going on here. This idea,
So many clubs.
People have like made this again, this straw man. Like you have to have an N-word joke and you have to have a trans joke. Like fuck, that fucking club is so diverse.
Incredibly diverse.
But naturally.
Yes.
With no.
Alright, so the club is incredibly diverse. The comedians that perform there are incredibly diverse in the sense that they have some black guys, some Indian guys, some Asian guys, some Mexican guys, and then like a woman sometimes. And then also, you have to take some accountability here, Rogan. You put yourself in this position. You let Tony speak the way he spoke about LA in comparison to Austin, about New York in comparison to Austin. All you guys did was sit here and do a podcast every week and tell everybody that's not from Austin or these places that Austin is the new Mecca. It's the home of comedy. And then when we go and we invest our time in watching your comedy, what do we get? A bunch of bullshit. A bunch of sexually frustrated grown men. Okay? Every single comedian that comes that's a regular on Kill Tony talks about how they're sexually frustrated. Okay? Every Joe Rogan Sphere comedian is sexually frustrated. I mean, Theo Von was just talking about taking his own life. Right? It's what happens with these comedians, folks. And now we get to see it sort of in real time because of podcasting. But Rogan's got to take accountability for the fact that people think this way about Austin because that's what we see. All that's being put out from this club, from these stand-up comedians that are in this area, is stuff that seems exactly that. So prove us wrong. Put out something that isn't just trans jokes and gay jokes and saying the N-word. Put out something that isn't that.
No effort. It's all just funny people.
Who's the funniest?
People are funny in all shapes and sizes,
Yes.
from all walks of life. Whatever struggle you've had that manifests itself in humor,
That's right.
exists. There's tons of people in that club that are gay. Most of the comedians,
Handicapped.
most of the comedians, by the way, are liberal.
Yes.
So that throws that out the window. This whole idea that it's some fucking right-wing comedy club, like.
But also, how do you know that? You went in the green room with all these comedians that were performing and you asked them their political leanings? You went and found out? You made sure that it was a part of their application process? Hey, which side are you voting for? Which way are you leaning politically? Oh, you're a liberal? Okay, cool. Because we also have Republicans and Democrats and, you know, the Green Party, the Lemon Party. We got all kinds of cool parties in here in this club, guys. And we all just want to get along. It's like, if that's the case, then why even fucking bring it up?
Like, stop it. Most of the people there are liberal.
Correct.
Most of them.
Correct.
But it's just this walled garden thing. When people are on the outside, and they're like, there hasn't been a scene here before.
Right.
And then you have the scrubs that were here. Like, they ruined the comedy scene. Like, you guys had nothing.
Shut up.
You shut
up.
I mean, that's crazy for Joe Rogan to say any other comedian has nothing. Yeah, Joe, you made a bunch of money as a host. You're not a real comedian by any stretch of the imagination. You're as real of a comedian as like Theo Von, okay? You're just somebody who was so desperate to be famous that you did anything you could to get that fame. And then because you were a host, they had to start labeling you as some sort of comedian, so that way it seemed like you had other skills instead of just standing there reading lines that other people wrote. Because that's realistically what you did. Sure, Tony Hinchcliffe isn't doing that because he's not reading a prompter, but is he repeating the exact same shit every night? Fuck yeah, he is.
Stupid, lazy hole. You had nothing.
Right.
You didn't even have a comedy club. When I moved here, Cap City was closed. You know how I know? Because I was gonna buy it.
Right.
I went to look at the fucking place where Cap City used to be, and I was gonna purchase it.
Yeah.
That's how I know it was under.
Good club now.
It's the new one.
Yeah,
That's a different
the new
one.
one. Yeah, yeah.
The old one was great too, though,
Right.
which is like an event
Loved
center
it,
now.
yeah.
But yeah, the new one is great. And
No, but the
there's more
mothership brought a
comedy
bunch of comedy here, so there are a lot of other clubs that are really
course.
fun. Creek in a Cave.
because we made it so that first of all, you've got a club that has 2 days of open mic nights, and you've got a real guy in Adam Egan, who's a real talent coordinator
Yep.
that really helps the development of comedians, and he
Yeah.
does it.
Who deemed Adam Egget a talent coordinator? Where did this happen? Where the fuck did this guy come from? I swear to God, until Norm Macdonald was doing his show, I had never heard the name Adam Egan. Not one time. Where was he working before? The Funny Bone? And then they just noticed him and they were like, oh, this is just a guy who's just like us. He likes to play pool. Let's get him in here. Let's make him cultivate talent. And as we know, that just really hasn't happened, right? I mean, Adam Eget's allegedly this talent coordinator, but where's all the talent? All you're doing is hanging out with all of the old comedians. There's no new blood. None of the new blood respects you. Most of the people that were involved in going to the mothership that are young comedians have moved on. Shout out to Mark Pugh, I believe his name is.
Does it really like consciously.
Takes it very seriously.
Takes it very seriously, and he's like, he really loves comedy, and he really wants to help people, and he gives great advice, and he
Adam's
gives people
amazing.
spots.
Adam actually watches sets. Like
Yes.
he sits in the audience
Oh,
and
he
watches
takes his
that
job
shit.
very seriously.
Also, 2 days a week for open mics is the standard. That's typically what any club does. They have 2 days of open mics. Okay, this isn't something that Joe just cultivated and he's like, hey man, we're doing 2 nights. We're giving comedians opportunities to be successful here. And it's like, that's the story that you're gonna spin. Yeah, of course. But what about the comedians that are all talking shit? What about them? It's just like getting these comments from people talking about, you know, Shane Gillis and Tim Dillon turning down the Riyadh shit and, you know, trying to give me flack for it or taking Tony's side. And yeah, of course you're going to take Tony's side, like I said in the video. Like I say with all of my videos, I already kind of expect the response that I get. You guys aren't saying anything original. This isn't new. Also, for the people that keep saying that this is AI, what about this is AI? I don't understand. What I'm doing a live reaction. You're watching me pause and unpause the video as I talk. How? I mean, have you guys run out of things to say? That's the best you can come up with? This is AI. After watching several of your videos, it's definitely AI. I'm talking in real time as the video plays. Here, I'll click play right now. See, I'm talking over Joe Rogan. I pause it again, still talking. What is AI? And also, where could there be a fucking script? There's no script to this. I'm a guy watching fucking shit that somebody else made. That's it, talking over it.
Men. I mean, he and I were the founders of the mothership. I mean, it was like
Wow.
we did it together.
Wow.
I wouldn't have done it without him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done it without him and without Kerry and a lot of the people that came from the
Yeah,
the
but
store.
who cares?
Yep.
You paid for
And
those people.
This
You bought
is a
those
place
people.
that it's new. And so if you're on the outside and you're not in, you try to find some criticism. That's like, criticism is fine if you're telling the truth. But there's a bunch of people that are making things up because they're trying to attack something that they can't be a part of.
That's right.
I mean, that sounds like the most hack YouTube comment response that I've gotten thousands of times. Oh, this is a guy who just didn't make it. You're just jealous. I mean, that is really what Joe is leaning on now. He's leaning on the fact that he thinks everybody else is jealous. He thinks people are envious of him. They want to be him. They wish they had what he had. And I've said it before. Yeah, dude, I'd like to have Joe Rogan's house. I'd like to have all of his toys and his money. But his life, his existence, no fucking way. Not a chance. I would rather have done it like Marin. I would have rather had a successful podcast that I only ever did in my garage. Like, Joe Rogan has spent money on making his podcast successful. And he's done exactly what all these other comedians are learning to do these days. They're surrounding themselves with better talent. And I've said this before. It's the old trope of the girl that's a 6 surrounding herself with 4s so she looks like an 8. That's exactly what this whole comedy scene is. All of these dudes are surrounding themselves with fucking people that are much funnier than them so that way they level themselves up as well. You think fucking Kill Tony would have been on Netflix if the first episode didn't feature Shane Gillis, Adam Ray, fucking, what's his name, Kyle Dunnigan and Joe Rogan? I don't think Adam Ray was on the first episode, but Kyle Dunnigan, Joe Rogan, Shane Gillis, first episode, you think they would have put that on Netflix without those guys? Would they have put a Kill Tony episode on Netflix with David Lucas on the panel? Give me a fucking break. Be realistic. I get it that you're a fan, but the fanboy shit is so played out, dude. So played out. Defending them in the comments, defending anybody in the comments is an absurd personality trait that people are developing.
Right.
And most of the reason you can't be a part of it is because you're a cunt. You're a cunt. You're a cunty person.
You cunt. We have a no cunts allowed.
No, we try to limit it, and we have. You know, we've actually banned some cunts.
Yep.
You know, because people were shitty people,
Yeah.
and like we're trying to have a real positive place where you
It's
can just
very
get
positive,
better
man.
at this art form. It's
I
a
love it.
love fest every time we go there. Everybody's having a
love
good time.
I love it.
And you're going to have people that have better experiences there and worse experiences there. One of the things, like someone was saying that she went to a comedy show and Justin Martindale went on, and then the next guy who came on started saying all these slurs about him. Yeah, you know who the next guy was?
Who?
Brian Holtzman. Okay? So if you know Brian Holtzman's act, it's a character.
So that
he
just makes it
plays
fine
that's a
then,
complete
because that's what he
maniac.
does, right?
And everyone he goes on, he went after Kim Congdon the other night.
Right.
Kim Congdon has this great set. She's in the little boy.
Justin's probably the only gay dude in the entire club. And Brian Holtzman goes up there and rips him apart after a set. Like, yeah, I get that. Comedians do that shit. Fine. But it got to the point where it made people uncomfortable. That's when you have to start pulling it back a little bit. Like, it doesn't matter who the fuck that is. It could have been Kevin Hart. It could have been fucking Michael Richards on stage. That shouldn't matter. That shouldn't just make it okay. Yeah, be funny. Brian Holtzman's a psychopath. I wouldn't have nearly been as offended as any of these other. I wouldn't have been offended at all. But there are people that are like, oh, that's crazy. That's fucking crazy. And I know that it is. And so should everybody else. Look at the times we're living in, people. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Brian Holtzman's the man. Very funny. Justin Martindale, very funny as well. But it goes to show these comedians are all watching this content about themselves. They might not be sitting down on a toilet with the fucking phone to their face like everybody else, but somebody on their team is relaying the message. Somebody's playing it for them. They're seeing it. Guaranteed, Rogan, Brendan Schaub, the Rogan verse, the Rogan sphere, has all seen Red Bar. They all know who the Elephant Graveyard is. They all know who Too Lazy to Try is. Podcast cringe. Because if there's anybody in the industry, Hollywood or Hollywood adjacent, that wants to find out what people feel about them, it's comedians, bro. It's comedians. There isn't another celebrity or another type of celebrity in the world, or entertainer, I guess I'll say, that wants to know how you feel about them more than a comedian. They live for the validation. An actor can go and put a movie out, and the only response he gets from the movie is when it's finished and the director tells him or the editor tells him, and then they premiere it, right? No one's shitting on him the day after the movie's, the day after he did a scene. That's not happening, right? They also aren't looking for the validation day of. Because think about it, movies take months, years sometimes to complete. So getting validation day of is crazy. Unheard of. But comedians live for that. They live for your laugh. They live for your clapping. So when you talk about them, they want to hear you praise them. They need to hear that. So when you're talking shit, they're going to do everything they can to try to spin it. Of course. Most people would. But the reality is, hey, dude, why do you care? If it's so fun, if it's so cool and everyone's having such a great time, why do you care? Why do you even know that somebody's talking shit? Why do you feel the need to bring up that you've banned people? Because if it's going so well and so cool and you're making so much money and your life's so awesome, why bring it up? Why do you care at all? Why would you watch The Elephant Graveyard?
Little boy, great set, very funny. He goes on and he goes, isn't it amazing watching women try to do things men do? What are you doing? Get in the kitchen! Get in the kitchen! It's a character, he plays.
He's the
Make me a
sweetest.
sandwich!
He's the sweetest human being
The
on
sweetest
the planet.
human being. So he did this with Justin
And Justin
Martindale.
Martindale doesn't care. Justin Martindale will
He
give
did.
as good as he.
Fucking said, he like commented on it, and this girl was talking shit about it. Like, yeah, that happened. Like, yeah, that happened with Brian Holtzman, you fucking asshole. You know what he's doing. He does that with me. He does that with everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I like how when he's talking about Steph Tolev, he can call her a fucking asshole. But when he's talking about Mark Maron, he's calm. He's cool, he's collected, he's not trying to be emotionally invested. But when he's talking to the woman comedian, oh, she's a fucking asshole, right?
Single person he goes on after, he shits on them to set the tone, and then he shits on everything. He shits on the tech guys walking around with their South by Southwest.
Yeah,
he goes crazy.
Yeah.
He's funny as shit too. He's a legend.
Yep.
Like, you know what he's doing.
He's not a legend. He's a legend to you guys.
Maybe this one
Like,
comic didn't.
no one
Maybe
knows
no
who
one
he is.
told her, but she's
Right.
like spreading all this shit that it's like this hateful environment.
I mean, Brian Holtzman has been a fucking club comedian most of his life. He's still a club comedian. He's been doing comedy for 50 years. That's like saying that one guy who made that fucking Windy City Heat, he used to go on at 1 o'clock at the Comedy Store, 1 a.m. I can't even think of the fucking guy's name. That's how irrelevant he is. And people would be like, he's a legend. It's like, he's a legend because you were there. That's like, you know, any guy that you went to high school with who did some crazy stuff is like, yeah, he was a legend to us. Outside of that, he's not. But we're not going and saying that Jake from high school was a fucking legend to just the public. You know what I mean?
Environment.
No,
Like,
no,
it's
no.
not
It's so
true.
silly.
I know you wish it was, because then it could suck and you're not a part of it.
Come
but
see how diverse the faces are in the fucking mothership. It's the United Nations, dude.
yeah, it really is.
It really is, and including because of
Whoop-de-doo.
Tony, there are a lot of people who are disabled who would
Yes.
never have a fucking stage, but because they
100%.
did some shit on Kill Tony, like, you know, facilitated the fact that they have a place to perform
Yeah.
every single fucking
Yeah,
night
Tony
and a
built the
community.
fucking
And
ramp
then,
to
by
the
way,
stage.
They've earned it. I'm not saying they haven't.
Yes,
They've
and
earned
with
it.
Kill Tony, they have a very unique pathway where if they can really bang out a solid minute and
crazy.
kill,
It's so
they
hard,
can
too.
have a career.
Yeah.
You can have a
Nope.
career.
Yeah.
And then
Timmy, no.
Absolutely not true. If you consider having a career being only on Kill Tony, fine. Yeah, that's a career. You did it. You nailed it. You made it. William Montgomery is killing it. Joe knows that's not true. That's why you see him looking into his head with his eyes, trying to find some sort of way out of this to make it make sense and not get any backlash. Because he knows it's not true. There hasn't been a single person besides Cam Patterson now that has done anything outside of Kill Tony. Timmy No Breaks doesn't count. That he's done nothing either. Casey Rocket has basically taken himself away from the Kill Tony universe. But again, these guys aren't doing anything. Aside from thinking that maybe you could sell tickets at a club, then Kill Tony could help you in that way. Outside of that, it's nothing. Truly nothing. If you guys remember the Netflix special that came out, the first one or second one, it doesn't matter. One of the Netflix specials, there was a guy that came on there, an open mic comedian apparently, who said that he rode his bike from California to Texas. It took him 37 days. He did his minute, and now we'll never hear from him again. We'll never see that guy again. Ever. But that's how desperate some people are. And they actually believe that Kill Tony could do something for you. It doesn't, dude. Malcolm Hatchett was one of the best comedians I had ever seen come through on this show, and he's working like a 9 to 5 now. He's funnier than Cam Patterson, William Montgomery, Casey Rocket. Hilarious. All naturally funny. And that guy's doing nothing. And nobody talks about that because all of the fans that watch Kill Tony now started watching last year during the pandemic, right? That's about it. You guys weren't around during the fucking Iron Man, right? The Jesus, right? Jeremiah Watkins' buddy. I can't even... Pat Regan, right? The guitar player who was basically the only band until Joel and Jeremiah came and became a part of this thing. I've watched all these transitions, and still the best comedian that I've seen get a golden ticket, be a regular of any kind, is Malcolm Hatchett. And you don't know who he is.
No breaks.
I mean,
He does acting off, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure he's
Timmy,
hilarious.
dude, that dude he'll just come up with shit out of him, and Peyton Runny will fucking, and Danny Martinello, they'll hit you with shit, and we're just like, holy fuck.
And
man.
that's Wednesday night at what time?
Wednesday night, we do it at 7. We're doing it on October 22nd. Come see what we do. It's gamified. It's
Where
fucking.
is the best place to find out when you guys are going to be there? Is it the website?
Yeah,
the comic
you can
strip.
go-
I mean,
yeah,
the Sunset
on,
Strip
on
website.
Sunset Strip's website and my website, but also my Instagram and stuff. I post about it.
Beautiful.
And
I mean, the confusion that these guys have got to feel when they move to Austin and think that all of a sudden their careers flipped over and changed and they're successful. Like, Brian Holtzman's got to feel like a fucking star for the first time ever. He actually walks out of the comedy club and people are like, Brian Holtzman? He's like, yes, that is me. Even though nobody outside of that fucking, 600-yard radius gives a fuck. Anyways, guys, Unique Entertainment. Interesting video. I didn't see Joe Rogan show any true level of emotion, unless he was talking about the female comedian, which only makes the most sense. But like, subscribe, share,